You have to understand that in all of these events, when it's staged, it's the same MO. The same handlers. The drill on 7/7, where the exact same trains, exact same bus were bombed at the exact same time, exact same locations. I played the clip earlier of Visor Consultancy head admitting the government hired him to do it. That way there's a smoke screen. That way if the patsies get caught by the wrong group, they just say it's part of a drill. That way if the operatives, the technicians get caught, they just say they were part of the drill. They use the drills to smoke screen the NSA and other compartments that may pick up the chatter. All right, we got about 4 or 5 minutes left here, Webster. The motive, obviously, morale's low in the military. Obama's launching a major escalation of 40,000 troops to the already 300,000 troop force of international U.S. and Afghan troops, 12-1 against the Taliban, i.e. anybody that doesn't pay their opium cut to the central banks. This is a way to relaunch the war, relaunch the idea that we're under attack, like the staged attack on the Pentagon on 9/11. This is a way to reignite the fear. We've seen other patsies lately where the FBI recruits them, cooks the bomb, trains them, tries to get them to bomb buildings in Illinois and other states. Same replay, building up to another false flag, creating the illusion that we need to keep these wars going. Webster Tarpley, what's the modus operandi for this false flag?
I think for now the goals are two things. The first is that Obama is stalling. Obama really is dithering, and there really is a faction fight, I think, in the administration. You've got a faction in the State Department around this guy Eikenberry and Matthew Ho, who are saying, don't escalate, don't escalate. Matthew Ho is saying, get out. That represents a body of opinion in the State Department. You've even got Biden, who says, don't send more troops, just send more Predator drones. So I think the rogue network, meaning this Wall Street conglomerate, is saying, let's push Obama into complete escalation. We want Obama as a warmonger. Remember, the goal of that is to break up Pakistan. If you break up Pakistan, you're threatening China, and you're also threatening Iran. So it's a geopolitics.
And notice this is all being launched right as the news show trial for the 9/11 patsies, where they admit they've been torturing and threatening to torture their children to get them to confess to building bombings where buildings didn't exist when they were arrested. Just totally made up.
The other thing, of course, is that Obama is worried about his own political future, and that does play a role, although not the major role.
But is this a test to test the waters for a bigger false flag?
It could be, but let me get to this point. Obama's basically saying, if I do this, I'm going to lose my whole left wing. And in fact, there's going to be an emergency anti-war demonstration here in Washington on December 12th in Lafayette Park at the White House. So Obama's going to hear protests through his own windows, which has been a rare event up to now. The other thing is that you have the anti-Obama opposition growing. The rogue network would like to endow that opposition with Islamophobia, hatred of Arabs, hatred of Muslims, and so forth. You look at what Limbaugh, Hannity, O'Reilly, Glenn Beck, and so forth are doing. This is now straight, delirium of hatred against Islam. Now, a third level, maybe the higher level, is that we also have this dollar crisis going on, and there may be a group in the ruling elite that can control this rogue network saying, look, we've got to do something to save the dollar. Forget geopolitics. Let's look at the dollar. Let's have a big shooting incident in the Persian Gulf. Let's have the Straits of Hormuz closed. Let's have a catastrophe in terms of world oil supplies. That's going to be bad for China. That's going to be bad for Japan. And you'll have the flight to safety, the flight of all the hot money in the world into the dollar, which is the likely result of a crisis of that magnitude still today, they think at least.
And by the way, Reuters today, IMF head eyes global currency change, presses on yuan. The imperative of greater global currency stability means the world can no longer rely, as it's done since the end of the gold standard, on currency issued by a single country, the head of the IMF said on Tuesday. That's Dominique Strauss-Kahn, the Bilderberg Group member. And there's all this propaganda about how this has got to happen. Webster, this is too important. Let me have the guys talk to you off air for a part 2 on the dollar and your breakdown on the different options the controllers have and what cards you think they're going to play in the near future. But I really want to thank you for the amazing piece that you wrote and sent to us to post at Infowars.com. Major Hasan on Fort Hood, a patsy and a drill gone live. You've only seen the tip of the iceberg with Webster in the last 30 minutes here. Be sure and visit Infowars.com or WebsterTarpley.com or the other sites to read this for yourself. Webster, let me put you on hold, have the crew talk to you. If you can come back on for another 30 minutes later on the week, just on the dollar, a separate subject. Thank you so much for your penetrating analysis. All right. There goes Webster Griffin Tarpley. Shifting gears, I have a giant stack of news I haven't even blitzed yet. Speaking of the Taliban being a staged operation, the Times of London and others, MSNBC, reported on the airlift of evil in January and February of 2002, how 6,000 Taliban and al-Qaeda commanders were flown out to safety to Pakistan by the CIA. Generals and people would capture them, would be ordered to release them, and how they would be paid in gold. Here it is again yesterday, Times of London. Army tells its soldiers to bribe the Taliban. Give me a close shot for PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. Army tells its soldiers to bribe the Taliban with gold. And it says, give them bags of gold like the U.S. does. Give them bags of gold. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, it's totally staged. The higher levels are just globalist mercenaries, and they've got little Muslim extremists that work for them. This is the facts. This is the history. Shifting gears now, I want to play a few minutes from the movie The Watchmen. When it was in theaters a few months ago, a big smash hit, I knew that the writer of the original comic strip is an admitted illuminist and into high-level 33rd degree masonry. And so I went to see the film. And the only thing we've edited out of this is some of the cussing. And under fair use, I'm going to play this so we can break down a few minutes of the film and analyze what's going on. But I'm going to talk more about this later in the week because we're running out of time and there's so much evidence on this front. But what we're dealing with here is revelation of the method. The elite believes in their own writings that they must tell you what they're going to do to you beforehand, and that they must explain to you through fiction why they're doing what they're doing. It's just like in a sword fight with gentlemen when they say on guard or on guard. On guard, I'm about to attack you. On guard, I'm coming at you. On guard. Dean Haglund got a phone call. He was going to be in town, one of the stars of the X-Files, lone gunman, Fox TV. He calls me and he says, I want to come to town. The CIA came and gave us different plots for both of the TV shows. And the CIA basically told Chris Carter to produce a show where a hijacked jet is flown to the World Trade Center by a secret group inside the military-industrial complex, a rogue group, a mole group. They remote control the jet. They use drills of hijackings and a terror drill to make NORAD stand down, to fly the plane into the World Trade Center, to blame it on Islamicist terrorists so they can invade Afghanistan. Now, this aired 6 months before 9/11. We played it many times. Just Google Lone Gunman episode 9/11. It's all over YouTube. It's all over everywhere. Or you can go to Best Buy or wherever and buy the 1 year series of The Lone Gunman, the episode, 10 episodes, and you can watch it in high quality. We actually bought a copy of it. There's hundreds of these examples. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Where they tell you what they're going to do. They had Oil Storm, again, 6 months before Katrina. The mayor was even part of the production where it hits, it floods it, martial law happens. We know they have weather control systems. I've interviewed the creator of it, Ben Livingston, meteorologist. They're now admitting all this. Weather control is being admitted by the White House science czar, John P. Holdren. But look, it goes on and on. The issue here is psychopaths love to brag. They love to taunt the police. They love to toy with people. This is their modus operandi. Now, when you go watch this 2-hour film, and don't show it to children, it's very violent, especially the director's cut, the widescreen edition. But you should watch it, because when I walked out of the theater, almost everyone was saying, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I saw review after review after review that said, no one understands this. This would be like showing someone 2 + 2 = 4 and they don't understand it. They explain in the movie that this Mandamus character, who's like the Luciferian enlightened one, that he stages terror attacks and blows up all these world cities, killing millions and millions of people, so that the world will come together for a world government. And he admits they staged World War I, World War II, the Cold War. It's all staged to bring in this one world government so there'll be total peace. Now, the only true superhero in it, Dr. Manhattan, who can create planets, do whatever he wants, be anywhere in the universe, he is trying to stop whoever's blowing up U.S. cities.